Today, we will learn about unitary method. Many situations arise in our daily life where we know the value of few things, and with the help of this, we find the value of as many things as we want. In this situation, we apply the unitary method. For example, if we know the value of 1 dozen bananas, then we can find the value of half a dozen, that is 6 bananas, or of more than 1 dozen bananas. The method in which we first find the value of 1 unit and then with the help of this, we find the value of any number of units is called the unitary method. Let us understand this with an example. Raju has fenced his house with 3 full rounds of fencing. It cost him rupees 9,072. If he wants to build a fence with 5 rounds, how much is it going to cost him? Can it be calculated? Think for a while. Let me tell you, the easiest way would be to find the value of 1 round of fence first and then using that value, calculate the value of 5 rounds of fence. Now, the question is how to find the value of 1 round of fence. Think for a while. Let me tell you, total cost of 3 complete rounds of fence is rupees 9,072. Similarly, total cost of 1 complete round of fence is equal to 9,072 divided by 3, which is equal to 3,024. Thus, total cost of 5 complete rounds of fence is equal to 5 into 3,024, which is equal to rupees 15,120. Here, using unitary method, we get the total cost of 5 complete rounds of fence. Remember that if we are given the cost of more than one object, then dividing the cost with the number of objects would result in the cost of one object. Then, the outcome is multiplied with the number of objects to get the cost of as many objects as wanted. Let us understand it with some more examples. When you go to a shop, the shopkeeper tells you the cost of an object. On the basis of this, depending on how many objects you want to buy, you can find out the cost of the total number of objects. Here, you are using the unitary method. When you go to buy vegetables, the shopkeeper tells you the cost of 1 kg of vegetables. On the basis of this, you find the cost of 250 grams, half a kg, 1.5 kgs, and 2 kgs or as much as you want. Here also, you use the unitary method. Similarly, for the following situations also, you will use the unitary method. Drivers find out the mileage of their vehicle based on distance traveled in 1 liter of petrol. Based on this, they find out the amount of petrol that is required to cover the desired distance. Depending on the number of units a company makes in one day, one can calculate the total number of its produce in a month or a year. Try to recall 5 such situations where you would use the unitary method. Today, we have learned about unitary method. In the next video, we will learn about it with some more examples. Today, we will see some examples of unitary method. Example 1. Rahul's group wanted 6 similar shirts for a dance competition. He bought 6 shirts for 245 rupees each. Find the amount that he has to pay for 6 shirts. Here, we have to find the amount Rahul has to pay for 6 shirts. We are given the cost price of 1 shirt, that is, rupees 245. In order to find the cost of 6 shirts, we have to multiply the number of shirts, that is 6, with the cost of 1 shirt, rupees 245. Therefore, cost of 6 shirts is equal to rupees 245 into 6, which is equal to rupees 1470. Next example. If the cost of 4 dozens of mangoes is rupees 120, then find the cost of 20 mangoes. From the given example, it is clear that the cost of 4 dozens of mangoes is rupees 120. Since 1 dozen is equal to 12 items, therefore 1 dozen is equal to 12 mangoes. Similarly, 4 dozen mangoes is equal to 12 into 4, which is equal to 48 mangoes. Thus, we can say that the cost of 48 mangoes is rupees 120. Now, how do we find the cost of 1 mango? Think for a while. You've got it right. To find the cost of 1 mango, we have to divide rupees 120 by 48. Cost of 1 mango is equal to rupees 120 divided by 48. Since we need to find the cost price of 20 mangoes, we multiply 20 with the cost of 1 mango. Therefore, cost of 20 mangoes is equal to 20 into 120 by 48. By solving this, we get the cost price of 20 mangoes, that is rupees 50. In this way, we can solve such questions easily with the correct use of unitary method. Example 3. For covering a distance of 180 kilometers, a vehicle requires 4.5 liters of petrol. Find out how much petrol is needed by a car to cover a distance of 800 kilometers. Also, how much distance will this car cover using 10 liters of petrol? First, let's find out how much petrol is needed to cover a distance of 800 kilometers. Required petrol for covering a distance of 180 kilometers is equal to 4.5 liters. Here, we convert the mixed fraction 4.5 into an improper fraction and get 9 by 2. Therefore, required petrol for covering a distance of 180 kilometers is 9 by 2 liters. Thus, required petrol for covering a distance of 1 kilometer is equal to 9 by 2 divided by 180. Or we can write it as 9 by 2 divided by 180 by 1. To divide fractions, we keep the first fraction as it is and then multiply it with the reciprocal of the second fraction, 180, which is 1 by 180. Therefore, petrol required for covering a distance of 1 kilometer is equal to 9 by 2 into 1 by 180, which is equal to 1 by 40 liters. Thus, petrol required to cover a distance of 800 kilometers is equal to 1 by 40 into 800, which is equal to 800 by 40, which is equal to 20 liters. This means the vehicle must have 20 liters of petrol in it. Let's find out how much distance this vehicle will cover in 10 liters of petrol. As we can see, the vehicle will cover 1 kilometer distance in 1 by 40 liters of petrol. If we multiply both sides by 40, then we get to know that the vehicle will cover 40 kilometers distance in 1 liter of petrol. Similarly, the vehicle will cover 10 into 40 kilometers, that is 400 kilometers in 10 liters of petrol. Today, we have seen some examples of unitary method. In the next video, we will learn some misconceptions related to this. Today, we will see some misconceptions and an interesting question related to unitary method. Misconception 1. A car covers a distance of 50 kilometers in 2 hours. Find out the distance that it will cover in 6 minutes. Many a times, students do not focus on units. They just consider the numbers and perform mathematical operations to get the answer. They simply divide 50 by 2 and get the result as 25. Then they observe that the next number is 6 and multiply 25 with 6 to get the result, that is 150. This leads to an incorrect answer and they give option 1. To solve any question, it is a must to consider its units. Here, the distance covered by a car in 2 hours is equal to 50 kilometers. Thus, the distance covered by a car in 1 hour is 50 divided by 2, which is equal to 25 kilometers. Since 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, therefore, 1 minute is equal to 1 by 60 hours. Similarly, 6 minutes is equal to 1 by 60 into 6, which is equal to 1 by 10 hours. The distance covered by a car in 6 minutes is equal to 1 by 10 into 25, which is equal to 25 by 10, which is equal to 2.5 kilometers. This results in the correct answer, which is option 2. Let's solve an interesting question. A worker takes 13 days leave in the month of March. Due to this, he gets rupees 5,670 as salary at the end of the month. If he does not take any leave in the month of April, then how much salary will he get? This is an interesting question. Let's solve it. In the example, it is given that the worker takes 13 days leave in the month of March. Due to this, he gets rupees 5,670 as salary. Can you tell how we will find out his salary per day? Think for a while. Let me tell you. Here, it will be incorrect to divide 5,670 by 13 because the salary is given according to his working days. The salary of 13 days is deducted because he is on leave. Can you tell how many days he will be paid for? Think about it. You have got it right. There are 31 days in the month of March. Out of these, he has not worked for 13 days. Therefore, at the end of the month, the worker will be paid for 31 minus 13, which is equal to 18 days only. Since salary of 18 days is equal to rupees 5,670, salary of 1 day is equal to rupees 5,670 divided by 18, which is equal to rupees 315. Since we know the salary of the worker per day, we find the salary of April. There are 30 days in the month of April. Thus, April's salary is equal to 30 into 315, which is equal to rupees 9,450. That means the worker does not take any holiday in April. He will get a salary of rupees 9,450. Today, we have seen some misconceptions and an interesting question related to unitary method.